This place is wow, I muttered as we entered the house. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A fireplace, it was perfect. But something felt slightly off. So how did you know about this place? I asked Rhoda, who was already lounging on the couch. Well, this is one of Aaron's properties. She chuckled. My stomach dropped. What? Doesn't he know we're here? I have the spare keys. She said with a small smile. This is Aaron's house. I asked slowly. I can't believe you brought me here of all places. She knew what her brother was like. Joe, your feud with my brother is getting ridiculous. Really? I snapped. Have you forgotten the time we both landed in jail and he bailed you out, leaving me to rot? Or the time we crashed his party, and he blamed me, called me a bad influence? Joe, she trailed off. And now you bring me to his house. You think I won't get blamed for this too? If I had known, I wouldn't have followed her, okay? Maybe I still would have. Who would turn down a trip to Spain? But we would have booked a hotel. Rhoda apologized, her shoulders sagging. We could still leave if you want. If he doesn't know we're here, we could stay. I muttered. Wouldn't he just pop up in Spain? Would he? After freshening up, we explored the neighborhood. Tomorrow, we'll see the tower. Yeah, Rhoda asked as we walked back. She tipped her head back, feeling the evening breeze. It's nice to breathe fresh air outside of New York suddenly. She opened her eyes with a misty blue glint. The first one back gets a paid manicure. She darted off and I ran after her laughing. We stumbled into the compound, and Rhoda pushed the door open. I followed, but she stopped abruptly, and I crashed into her back. What is it? I whispered as the color drained from her face. Then I saw him. Aaron was in the living room, swirling a glass of whiskey. His eyes were cold, his expression closed off. He slammed his glass on the table. The devil had arrived. Silence hung heavy as we stared at each other. Aaron's eyes darted between us. Rhoda cared to explain. What you're doing in my house without my permission? His voice was low and cold. Rhoda was silent. His gaze moved to me. And you, he muttered, his tone growing colder. Still following my sister around, I see. Okay, before you get this wrong, I had no idea this was your house, I said quietly, elbowing Rhoda. No idea. He stood up, his height imposing. You want me to believe this was an entire idea? Like I said, I had no idea until we were here, I muttered. And whose idea was it? He pressed his eyes, not leaving me. Maybe if you weren't such a controlling bastard, your sister would have told you. I bit out. If Rhoda wasn't going to speak, I wasn't taking the blame. Aaron stepped toward me, his eyes darker. Rhoda stepped in front of me. Aaron, stop. She's right. This was my idea. You've always been trouble, Joan, he said with a chill. I clenched my fists. You know what? Fuck you. I raised my middle finger before storming off to pack. I'd find a hotel anywhere but here. I yanked my clothes out, shoving them into my bag. From the hallway, I heard Rhoda's muffled yells. The door swung open. Aaron stood there with Rhoda behind him, looking exasperated. Their gazes flipped to my packed bag. Just so you know, your brother is an asshole, I said calm. ILL text. You my address in the morning. You're not leaving at this time of night, Aaron ordered. No, you don't get to dictate what I do. His jaw tightened. Try me, Joan. See if I won't drag you back here myself. You're leaving in the morning. I'm not letting you storm off and end up murdered. With that, he turned and left. I blinked at Rhoda. Did he just threaten me? I'm sorry, Joe, Rhoda whispered, hugging me. Just stay for the night, please. I sighed. Fine. I'll stay. Not because of Aaron's warning, but because Rhoda asked. I was an early riser, or maybe that was the wrong word. He had insomnia. That explained why I was in the kitchen by 4 a.m. brewing coffee. I walked into the sitting room, staring out at the quiet city. I'd had a business meeting in Barcelona, which explained why he was in Spain. I showed VE. Been thinking about work. But it wasn't. I was thinking about my sister and her best friend invading my house. Rhoda always had a streak of stubbornness, but it never flared until she met Joan. Joan had a way of encouraging the wild, reckless side of my sister, and the fact that Joan hated me, that was just a bonus. The movement in the house snapped me back. I could sense her. Joan. I didn't turn around. She moved past me toward the fireplace, Her ginger red hair piled into a messy bun. She closed her eyes, soaking in the warmth. Those eyes, when they opened, were sharp and cunning like a fox's. I moved to the kitchen island, annoyed at myself for noticing things about her. The quiet between us was tense. If you're done ogling me, move out of my way, she said flatly. I raised my mug. This is my house, I can't be in your way. Her scowl deepened. She squared her shoulders, lifting her chin, fists clenched, lips flattened, her whole body vibrating. With the effort not to lash out, she let out a sharp huff and moved around the island toward the kitchen. Joan. Madison was a morning person without her coffee. Rhoda appeared a moment later, her chestnut hair amiss. She mumbled a grog morning as she brushed past me and stood next to Joan, who handed her a mug. Rhoda turned to me. We're leaving today, she said quietly. Joan didn't even spare me a glance. I checked my watch. Stay, I said flat. Why? I'll be leaving by the weekend. I grabbed my suitcase, glancing at Joan just long enough to catch her tense posture. Without another word, I headed for the door. I wasn't about to leave them without keeping tabs on them. I rolled my eyes as soon as he left. He can be insufferable at times, Rhoda said. I said nothing. I was convinced he didn't save a heart. You're staying, right? He'll be gone by the weekend, just 2 days, she added quickly. Rhoda, please, she pleaded with puppy eyes. I'll be staying. Just because the asshole is leaving, I added. She tugged at my hair lightly before scurrying off. As much as I adored her, Rhoda could be impulsive. I, on the other hand, was always bracing for impact. We explored Madrid, the clock tower, Plaza Mayor, the royal palace. By the time we finished, it was getting dark. We should head back, I said. But Rhoda was smiling mischievously. Lucas is around, he asked me to meet him. I stared at her. You're kidding, right? She'd been chatting with this stranger for 2 months. It's dangerous. He isn't Joe. I'm coming with you then. I dug out pepper spray and Adisu. Joe, you can come, it's our first time meeting. Fine, she snatched the pepper spray from my hand. But I'm still going prepared. Before I could argue, she kissed my cheek and disappeared into the crowd. I boarded the bus back to Aaron's house. The compound was eerily quiet. When I arrived, I pushed the door open and entered. Aaron was home, leaning on the kitchen island, with a glass in hand. His black eyes washed over me before searching for Rhoda. Where is she? His voice cut through the silence. She went to meet the man she's been chatting with for 2 months, I said dryly. His eyes darkened. She went to meet a stranger, and you couldn't stop her or go with her. Rhoda is a grown woman. Who am I to stop her? She isn't a fucking grown woman who can just wander around a city. She barely knows at night. He dropped his glass and straightened to his full height. If you're so worried, why don't you call her? I said lightly. Before I could process, he was on me, shoving me against the window, his hand wrapped around my throat. Not hard enough to hurt, but enough to send a message. I should have gotten rid of you when I had the chance, he said, his voice dripping with venom. Let go of me, Mr. Thompson. He smirked, then suddenly released me and spun me around. My body hit the cold glass face first. His chest pressed against my back, his hands sliding down my waist. What would you do, he whispered, if I took you right here, right now, against this window? Make you beg me to let you come? My stomach tightened for him. I'd like to see you try, Mr. Thompson. Everything happened too fast. 1 minute. My dress brushed against my thighs modestly. The next it was bunched around my waist. The sound of tearing fabric filled the air. My panties. A shiver ran down my spine as cool air hit my bare skin. His dick pressed against me, and I arched into him. This is what you want, right? He whispered, his breath hot against my ear. Don't bring your mouth near me, I bit out. I felt him smirk. His fingers found their way inside me, and a moan slipped out. You moan for me like the little slut you are, he growled. So wet for me. How long have you wanted this? Just shut up and fuck me, I spat. I heard a zipper, the crinkle of foil, and then he was inside me, filling me in a way that left me breathless. His thrusts were hard and fast. He was on the edge when he suddenly pulled out. Already coming apart, he sneered. I glared at him, pretty pathetic. For a who does at last. He slid back inside me, keeping just enough distance to deny me. Release. Say it. Beg me to let you come. My nails scraped the window, please. I murmured. He drove into that spot and I shattered. My walls clenching around him. He didn't slow, becoming frantic as he chased his own release. I felt him swell inside me. His groan rough in my ear. Reality crept back slowly. We watched him remove the condom in the windows. Reflection. A tug and my dress down. Already feeling his absence. I picked up the torn scrap of my panties and walked toward the room issued with Rhoda. The door clicked shut behind me, and I leaned against it, closing my eyes. I just fucked my best friend's brother. True goodness, Rhoda stammered. I asked Rhoda. She returned last night. Rhoda said suddenly. Inside the club with sensory overload betraying me. His gaze locked, he said flat ly. The coldness. No one gets in without an ID, ma'am. Cautioning his sister and me, though most of his. Her glittering black dress working its magic high. Thank you, she whispered. Your fists. Reached a safe distance. It was 3 p.m. Blonde man approached. He stopped in front of us. Orphanage full of boys had hardened in me. Rhoda came rushing back. I pushed my chair back and stood the moment it did, which led to our latest escapade. What's going on? Dick isn't exactly memorable. Neither of us moved. I think my wrist will be red tomorrow. Rhoda stepped forward. We're not supposed to be here. Forget about it, it never happened. Grabbing her wrist. It snapped. A blatant lie. All he was going to say. I shook my head, growing up and in. What made him look less murderous? Something to Aaron before darting off. Wanna tell me the secret too? So what are we going to do? Where were you the entire night? We'll probably find out someday. Warnings were directed at me. Relief. It was fun, Joe. You should have seen wiping tears of laughter. She was at one to stand. Joe, Rhoda whispered as we crept into the tower. You say, my nipples hardened. Past midnight. We've been warned, guests. His eyes raking over our bodies. Rhoda, I yelled. We bolted for the exit, moving to the bar sharp ly. His attention shifted to her. She said I asked after we spent half the day doing yoga. At the club, a massive bouncer demanded IDs. Washed over me once he was gone. Wearing tallow after that hour. Aaron, Rhoda said sharply. A paper bag in her hands and dance with. When it's over, our eyes locked for a second. Aaron left the next morning. People were dirty dancing half naked. He asked, his voice edged with steel. Onto them with laser precision. Let's just leave. More men stepped toward us. A woman from the crowd to blindfold. It never happened. You're trying to bribe me, he muttered. He sneered. This is how it works. Rhoda let out a choked laugh once we did. I went to see Afrian. I could feel his breath on the back of my neck. She shouldn't know, he interrupted. And he won't have a cute face anymore. Was that Rhoda? Probably. Shouldn't know. Up for herself. They've been forced. Rhoda grabbed my arm. Joe, you play by the rules. About last night, I began. The days flew by quickly. Our version of fun was on. We don't take no for an answer. He said, look. She pointed to a darker area where. He murmured. Rhoda say as brightened. I saw a club down. Glad you find this funny, I said dryly. Nodded absent-minded ly. Once you in the club. Not sparing me a glance. Landing a solid punch to his face. Run. I pretended to be asleep. Let you come. On my dick. It isn't memorable. Stepping closer. And I'll call you begging me to tonight if it hadn't been there. Damn, I need a drink, I muttered. I clenched my jaw. We were lucky to escape. Breaking the tension. She whispered. We're new in town and we don't have IDs. I asked as a commotion drew my attention. Hey. I stepped between them. She said no. Just tell me you're okay. Did he hurt you? The bartender explained. One of the men chooses. Cut deeper than he wanted to admit. A deep voice came from behind me. No thanks, I'm not interested. Dangling my heels. Stop being a dickhead to me. Against their partners. Meet me at the back entrance by midnight. Dressed man helped us order. She laughed. That's our secret. You and sparse crowd stared like we'd lost our minds. Warm and steady, how close was he? He shook his head but let out our sign sigh. Saunter off again without letting me know the street. Maybe we could check it out. I have something to show you. She gets paid. Before I could dwell on it, a slim. May I have this dance? He's really cute, she muttered. He asked attention on Rhoda. Without thinking I swung my fist. Rhoda tugged my arm. Joe. Things only got worse. Rhoda was drawn to danger. They're making a pic. Climbing the staircase. We used our phones as flashlights. A flicker of movement caught my eye. Eret, Rhoda, terrified of rats, let out an ear-piercing scream. Who's there? A deep voice called. We froze, switching off our flashlights. Heavy footsteps echoed. We crept onward, but I bumped into a can, sending it clattering. Location 156, possible intruders. The man reported, just as his flashlight found us. We bolted in opposite directions. After confirming no one was behind me, I slumped to the floor, hoping Rhoda was safe. I stood and brushed off my clothes. Time to find Rhoda. But just as I took a step forward, cold steel pressed against my head. Move and I'll blow your brains out. I froze, raising my hands. I've got the other one, the man said into his intercom. My stomach sank. Rhoda had been caught. Aaron arrived in Spain a few hours later, signing bail papers for both of us. Rhoda immediately stood when she saw him. Joan, however, remained seated, her knees drawn to her chest. As she watched us quietly, I paused, taking in the expression on her face. Something stirred inside my chest. News flash. I did care after all. Aaron, Rhoda muttered as the officer opened the gate. She stepped out. Her head hung low. You, the officer pointed at Joan. She raised a brow defiant. Come out. Your free. Surprise flickered in her eyes before she masked it. Standing and stepping out. At home I faced them. Trespassing is a serious crime in Spain. Care to explain? It was my idea that. It's always your idea. I snapped. I've been too lenient with you. Your accounts will be frozen. You'll earn the money you spend. I've also insured your black listed from top places in New York. Aaron, you can't do that. Then act like a responsible adult. Prove it and I'll consider reversing it. She stared at me before shaking her head and storming off. Joan followed, but I grabbed her arm. I'm not done with you. Why did you bail me out? She asked, her voice hard. Isn't it obvious? You would have rotted in there otherwise. News flash. You shouldn't have. You've done it before. Just because we had sex doesn't mean you should go soft on me. Who said I was going soft? Indulge my sister in any more reckless activities, and you won't track the consequences. This is your last warning, Madison. She stayed quiet, pressing her lips together before turning and walking away. I watched the sway of her hips, feeling a mix of disappointment and relief. If she had argued further, I'd have backed her against the wall. I ran a hand through my hair. Fuck my life. I hate my boyfriend. He sucks. Those were the only words I'd written since an hour ago. Rhoda was in a bad mood, thanks to her brother. I wandered through the house and discovered Aaron's library, massive, artistic, packed with books. It was quiet, dim and cool, the kind of space where inspiration should be flowed. Yet my mind was blank. Then I felt it. The hair on my neck prickled. I knew who it was. Stop hiding in the shadows and watching me like a creep. Interesting choice of words, considering I'm wondering what the hell you were doing in my library. I didn't know you read, Mr. Thompson. You don't know anything about me. His footsteps grew closer. I snapped my laptop shut, leaving the room in darkness. I stood ready to leave. Well, since you're not leaving, I will. Running from me, kitten? I froze. Kitten? That's the best you could come up with. You think? Besides, your scratches are still on the window. I tilted my head, confused. The thought sent heat pooling in my core. They should have been on you instead. The words hung in the air, heavy and charged. You think? He took another step. What are you here for, Thompson? Did you miss me so much? Oh, I'm here to make use of it. Good use. His words hummed with something deeper. I reached the door when his voice stopped me. And Joan, next time use your fingers on me, instead of marking my house. I clenched my jaw. Bold of you to think there will be a next time. It was a only time thing. Get over it. I slipped out, but as I walked down the hallway, my chest was tight. It might be walked away this time, but it was so sure I'd be able to next time. And yeah, I was still thinking about Aaron. Inappropriately, I'd been holed up in my room since morning, my fingers flying across the keyboard. After weeks of writer's block, ideas were flowing. As much as I hated to admit it, Aaron had become my muse. The door creaked open. Rhoda, thought you might need this, she said, holding out coffee. Sex scene, she asked, glancing at the screen. After weeks of not writing, this is what finally gets you going. What can I say? Inspiration comes in strange ways. Voices drifted in from the living room, a feminine voice. We exchanged a look and headed toward it. A stunning woman stood in front of Aaron, a suitcase in hand, waist-length brown hair, flawless skin, perfect posture. Aaron looked annoyed. Angela, Rhoda said, stepping forward. Aaron and the woman turned. Angela looked downright annoyed. It clicked. I'd heard that name before. Angela. Aaron's girlfriend. The thought hit me like a punch to the gut. What the hell was Aaron's girlfriend doing here? The ideas suddenly stopped. I stared at my laptop. Screamed like it was the root of all problems. Turns out it was true. Aaron was my muse. I hated that. He was a cheat. And I'd been stupid enough to get involved with him. The thought of causing another woman pain burned me with guilt. Angelina was his girlfriend in every sense. Rhoda wasn't home. Lucas had called her over. The silence told me. Aaron wasn't told me either. When I got to the living room, a figure lounged on the couch. Angelina. So you're Joan. Her voice broke the silence. Obviously. Aaron told me you're an orphan, she said, her voice dripping with mockery. My knife paused mid-air. Aaron told her, you're not supposed to be here. You know, associating with Aaron and his sister. You're not in their league. I turned to face her. Excuse you. Who are you again? Angelina Martinez, face off the. I don't know you. And your opinion doesn't matter. You've got guts for someone with no identity. You should leave. They'll dump you eventually. Aaron told me himself. And why should I believe you, princess? He's my boyfriend. He tells me everything. Does he? Because he didn't look thrilled to see you. Her eyes blazed with fury. He was. You sure, princess? I expected no better from someone who grew up in an orphanage. My last shred of patience snapped. Mind how you speak to me. Angelina, Rhoda might ignore you. But I won't. The front door opened. Aaron walked in. Angelina burst into tears. I rolled my eyes. Aaron, she threatened me. She needs to leave. I grabbed my plate and juice. Walking around the island. Aaron Sayas met mine. But he said nothing. Keep your puppy on a leash. Thompson, if she crosses me again, no one will like the outcome. Aaron followed me to the kitchen. Are you avoiding me, kitten? I didn't trace Bond. He does, Pete. Get to act like everything's fine. That essay question that requires an answer. You don't walk away while I'm talking, Madison. I snapped my arm out of his grip. And I told you to stay the fuck away from me. This is about Angelina. Make it about whatever you want. I didn't care. What did she say to you? Nothing. Nothing except the garbage you told her about me. What garbage? What the hell are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Don't act like. You didn't tell her I'm an orphan. That I'm disposable. I never said anything like that to Angelina. Sure you didn't stay away from me. You don't get to accuse me and then walk away. Don't try to act innocent. We both know you're not. He cursed under his breath. I told her nothing. We haven't talked about you. We fell silent, staring at each other. I took a step back. He carried me to his room, tossing me onto the bed. Strip for me, kitten. Spoiler alert. I'm not a stripper, and even if I were, you'd be the last person I'd perform for. He stalked toward me. Slow and deliberate. You either fuck me, or I leave. I could make you wait. But you'd break first. You'll strip for me, kitten. Maybe not today. But you will. He wrapped a hand around my throat. Now turn around, get on all fours. I obeyed. When he finally drove into me, it was intense. Afterward we lay in silence. I have a deal for you. Said finally. It's obvious we're not done with each other yet. What if we keep this going? No strings, no attachments. Rhoda does and he have to know. When we redone, we walk away, clean break. I held his gaze. Yes. I'm going to miss this place. Rhoda mourned as we packed. I would never admit it out loud. But I know I'd miss it too. The building and the memories. Aaron and I had been sneaking around lately. Are you sure it's the house you'll miss or your boyfriend? I asked. I'm going to miss him. I won't see him for 2 weeks till he visits New York. The door flew open. Angelina stood there with a scowl. Jet has arrived. We're leaving in 5 minutes. She shot me a GLR before storming off. That's surprising. Let me guess, Aaron forced her to, Rhoda said. When we got to the sitting room, neither Aaron nor his girlfriend was there. My mood soured immediately. What the fuck? Aaron's voice came from behind us. He stared at our hair. Rhoda shot pink, mine blonde. What the fuck did you do to your hair, Rhoda? I dyed it, as you can see. You're changing this. No, I'm not. You don't get to tell me what to do. You look ridiculous in this color. Hurt flashed in. Rhoda say yes. She does look ridiculous. What the fuck are you saying? I asked. His dark eyes zeroed in on me. I see you got a disaster yourself. It's called Blonde Thompson, not a disaster. Angelina huffed and walked out, dragging her luggage. You're changing that hair, Aaron told Rhoda. I'm not. Lucas likes it, so it's staying. I grabbed my bag. His eyes turned to me. I deal with red kitten and red suits you better. The earlier you change that thing, the better for you. He walked out, leaving me stunned. The journey back to New York was awkward. Rhoda sat close to me, glued to her phone. Across from us were Aaron and Angelina, and I could feel Aaron say yes, shooting daggers at both our hair colors. We arrived late that night. When I got home, I walked into my little flat, feeling a wave of nostalgia. After unpacking and showering, my phone beeped. A text from Shane, my editor. I know you're back, call me. Before I could process, my phone rang. MS, Madison. We got 3 weeks. Please tell me you made progress. Yes, I've done quite a lot. It's romance. I could tried thriller. When I finally started writing again, it just came out as romance. My God, Madison. I'm glad you chose romance. That is actually what the client requested a few months back. Will you be free tomorrow? After the call, I slipped into bed. My phone pinged again, a text from an unknown number. Change that hair color. I instantly knew who it was from. Hello to you too, Thompson. The hair, I mean it, kitten. Keep this up and it might start thinking. You're obsessed with my hair. I am. Oh boy. Go to bed. Big boy, don't miss me too much. I tossed my phone aside and turned off the lamp. I was drifting off when a sharp knock jolted me awake. 晚上10点34分. Who could be knocking at this hour? I grabbed a bat and crept toward the door. I aimed it open, swinging blindly. A strong hand grabbed my wrist, yanking me back against a hard chest. Impressive move, kitten. A deep, familiar voice drawled. Aaron. I was working my shift at McCormick Fries when the air shifted. My skin prickled. I glanced toward the entrance and froze. Aaron was standing there, his dark eyes locked onto me. What the hell are you doing here? I asked after dragging him to a quiet corner. Is that the guy in the picture? He asked, ignoring my question. You don't even know him. You're defending a guy who stares at your cleavage? What are you talking about? Get your things, we're leaving. I grabbed my bag and muttered a quick goodbye to my coworkers. In the car, I realized we weren't heading to my apartment. Aaron, you just drove past my block. We're going to my apartment. What? No. Relax, I'm not kidnapping you. At his penthouse, my phone rang. It was Rhoda. I'm about to head to your apartment. Are you home yet? Still at work, I lied, guilt bubbling up. There's a storm coming. I'll see you soon. After the call, I turned to Aaron. You know there's a storm coming. No, that was Rhoda. We rode the elevator in silence. Then he started asking about Mafia. Drop it, Thompson. You don't know anything about him. I could know everything about him in a minute, kitten. Don't test me. Who knows what else you've dug into? My life, my phone, my parents. He reared back. What the fuck are you talking about? I never do that to you. Why are you so defensive about him? Is he your boyfriend? Hell no. But I could get a boyfriend if I wanted. His eyes darkened. We're exclusive, kitten. I didn't get to fuck you while you go off and get yourself a boyfriend. Oh, I didn't know we were exclusive. Funny how you bring that up after screwing your ex in Spain. Who told you that? I know, Thompson. But this thing between us is temporary. He closed the distance between us. This isn't temporary. You might not see it now, kitten, but you're mine. He scooped me into his arms and carried me to his bedroom. The storm raged outside, but all I could feel was the heat building between us. Afterward, I woke up in his bed wearing his shirt. The storm had stranded me there. In the morning, I found him shirtless in the kitchen cooking breakfast. The sight was intimate, too intimate. Slept well? He asked. Surprised you didn't try to kill me in my sleep. He smiled, Ariel smile, and my heart stumbled. He had other ideas, kitten. Killing you wasn't on the list. As I ate, I noticed how neat his food was arranged, how spotless his house was. Aaron, do you have OCD? He paused. Yeah, I do have a minor OCD, but it's nothing. Don't feel sorry for me, kitten. Like I said, it's nothing. We sat in silence until my phone started pinging relentless ly. Aaron groaned and pulled away. Silence that thing. I checked the messages. They were from an unknown number. Care to know who your parents are? Your mother is a slut, but she's living her best life now with her new family. And your dad? He's a criminal. You're the daughter of a wanted criminal. Stop playing hard to get, Joe. Follow in your mother's footsteps. My blood ran cold. I turned to Aaron. My face pale. I got a text. I whispered. About my parents. He read the messages, his jaw tightening. Later, when I wasn't looking, he copied the IP address and deleted the texts from my phone. He didn't want me to see them, didn't want me to hurt more than I already was. I want you to fuck me, I said, trying to avoid the pain. No. What you need is time. Alone. To process this, I stormed out. Angry and hurt. But a small part of me noticed he cared. Aaron Thompson actually cared. A few days later, I accompanied my neighbor Indy to her interview. At Zenith Crypt Securities. The name sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. Then I saw Aaron walking in with a group of men. He was the CEO. That's the CEO, Indy whispered. After she went up for her interview, I wandered the main floor and literally ran into Aman. I am Denzel, he said with a charming smile. I'm Joan. My phone pinged, a text from Aaron. Meet me at my office. Now kitten, 10th floor. I excused myself and took the elevator up. His secretary directed me to his office. When he walked in, he was standing by the window. What are you doing here, kitten? Aren't you supposed to be hosting an interview? I escorted my neighbor here. Why did you ask me to come here? Come over here. He patted his desk. Just sit and spread your legs. I went to have lunch. My heart thudded as it perched on his desk. He parted my legs, his fingers finding their way inside me. You're not wet, he observed. We got 15 minutes to fix that. He went down on me, and I came undone. Afterward, I realized my panties were missing. Aaron? My panties. Not giving them back. That SNY price for giving you an orgasm. His intercom buzzed. Denzel walked in. The man I just met. We meet again, Joan. This isn't really meeting. Denzel. We just happened to be in the same place. So what are you doing here? You know him? Unfortunately. Brown eyes, I'm kind of stuck with him. Denzel chuck LED. Mind if we get coffee sometime? Aaron's voice cut through the room. You're not seeing her again. I smirked, blowing a kiss at Denzel. Don't mind him. I'll get your contact from his secretary and give you a call. I sashayed out, feeling both their eyes on me. Later, Denzel reported to Aaron that the IP address traced back to someone called Dagger. Lord, a name that sounded like it belonged to a Mafia boss. Aaron's mind churned. Whoever was sending those texts knew Joan too well. Rhoda called, wanting to use Aaron's house for her birthday party. He agreed on one condition. Joan isn't invited. When Rhoda told me, I laughed. What the hell? He actually said that. We decided I'd show up halfway through. He couldn't throw everyone out then. At the party, I wore a white sleeveless dress with a high slit. Matthew from work was there, and we sat together. He offered me a drink, and soon after, sharp pain tore through my stomach. My period. I excused myself, heading upstairs to find Agatha's room. Matthew followed. I just want to help Joe. Aaron appeared behind him. She asked you to leave, didn't she? She's my friend. She's not feeling well. Get out, I'll take care of her. You don't even know her. If you don't want to find yourself in custody tonight, Mr. Lockwood, I suggest you leave. Matthew hesitated, then retreated. Aaron's arms steadied me as I sagged against him. You're staying, he muttered, tying his jacket around my waist. White dress. Period. Mortifying. He carried me to the bathroom, ran a hot bath, and helped me undress. I'll get Rhoda for you. No need. I'll just rest a little and get going. Thank you. He looked awkward. He was used to me being nice. The next morning, he brought me breakfast. I couldn't help but ask, what do you mean by this? All this, you took care of me last night, and this morning you brought breakfast. You aren't doing all this just for the fun of it. So what's in it for you? You think I'm doing all this because I want something from you? Who knows? We aren't the best of friends. So if you're doing all this, it means you want something. Hurt flashed in his eyes. I know you're probably not used to people doing things for you. But you should learn to appreciate the ones that actually do. He walked out and slammed at the door. I've screwed up. I tried calling, but he didn't answer. Then another text came through. Your mother is in Spain. She is Spanish. Guess who your father is? Ace Knight, a murderer. I ran outside and there he was, Aaron, standing by his car. I launched myself at him, burying my face in his neck. I am sorry. I acted like a bitch. He was scared. It's okay, just tell me what happened. Ace Knight. That's the name of my father. And he is a murderer. He held me tighter. The name felt familiar. Too familiar. Whoever was behind those texts knew too much. Her building had no security. It was unsafe. But he kept those thoughts to himself. Right now, she didn't need more fear. She needed someone to lean on. Back at work, Matthew asked me out. Just one date, Joe. I've been asking you for months. I didn't want to. But he was scared he figured out about Aaron. Until Rhoda. Fine. Just one date. The night of the date, I was getting ready when Aaron called. Are you home? Where are you going? I'm going on a date. A date? Are you being serious? Aaron, don't make a big deal out of this. I am just trying my luck at the dating pool. Who's the guy? That's not your problem. Silence. Then okay. Enjoy your date. The call ended abruptly. The date was awful. Matthew talked endless ly about himself. Ordered steak without asking if I liked it. And suggested we go back to his place. I was bored out of my mind. Then my phone buzzed. Aaron, bad date. You look awfully bored. I glanced around the restaurant but couldn't see him. Who said I'm bored? I'm not. You're on your phone, kitten. While your date is speaking. Nothing. Screams bored louder than that. Another message. You look beautiful tonight. But unfortunately, you chose that loser. You have a choice. Either I punish you for letting him touch you, or I punish him for touching what? Smin. Your decision, kitten. I excused myself to the restroom. The door locked behind me. And Aaron was there. What the hell are you doing here? This is the women's restroom. Let's say no one is coming in here because I made sure of it. What would you do to him? I take his job. Maybe cut off his hand. Maybe more. And me, you'll find out for yourself. Now you're going to go back there. Call off this date. And make sure it's the last one. You don't get to tell me what to do. You either call it off, or I'll do what I've been wanting to do ever since I saw that fucker's face. Fine, we'll talk about this later. There's nothing to talk about. Kitten, get going. I went back and ended the date. Aaron drove me to another house, his secluded and modern. He blindfolded me. This is my way of making your night better. From that awful date. I think I like to do that blindfolded. I murmured. Give me a show. Kitten, be my slut for tonight. The next morning I tried to leave quietly. But the gate wouldn't open. Aaron appeared on the steps. Still in a hurry to leave? Some of us have to work to stay alive. Thompson, see you around. As I walked to the main road, I felt someone watching me. The cab driver cleared his throat. Ma'am. I think we're being followed. Later Aaron arrived at my apartment. Someone's watching me. I told him. I've noticed it for a few days. And today felt worse. Give me a few minutes, I'll be there. He came and I asked, can I hug you? I rushed into his arms, he held me close. You have to move out. They know you. Me staying here. It's not safe anymore. Aaron, I have nowhere to go. Move in with me. You're not my boyfriend. Aaron, I can't just move in with you. You'll be safe with me. That's all that matters. He assigned me a bodyguard and then said, pack a bag. We'll leave for Paris tomorrow. The next morning, he came to get me. I'm not going. I said firmly. It's my choice. You're scared. I'm not. What's wrong? What's this between us? I can't do this anymore. We're nothing. Aaron. And I'm always waiting for you to screw everything up. Then you show up, acting like this. And I don't know what to think anymore. Come with me to Paris. We'll figure this out. She stared at me for a long moment. How many days are we spending there? 2. This better be worth it. In Paris he booked at 2 suites. Because I can trust myself around you, he said. Later a box arrived with a dress text. Dress up. I'll pick you up in 20 minutes. He took me to a yacht. Candles, a table for 2. The sea stretching endless. Ly. This looks like a date, I said slowly. You wanted dates. We danced under the stars, moving slowly to the sound of the waves. Make love to me, I whispered. He carried me to a room. And for the first time, it wasn't just sex, it was something more. Afterward he tried to leave. I had insomnia, he admitted. Maybe just stay until I fall asleep. He climbed back into bed, pulling me close. His breath evened out as he drifted off. It smiled. So much for insomnia. Maybe, just maybe, he was falling in love with Erin. The next day, we explored Paris. It was perfect. Until my phone buzzed. Luna De Luca, your mother. I went quiet. Erin noticed. Talk to me. What's bothering you? I shook my head and hugged him. Later, trying to forget, I climbed into his lap in the park. Either you fuck me now, or I'll find someone else who will. He kissed me hard. We were interrupted by a furious woman with a young boy. My son just watched you two doing that. This is a public park, not a damn brothel. We laughed it off. But then Erin got a call. He stepped away. Joan got another text. Denzel said. From the same IP address. I've been digging into this Ace Night guy. It's bad, man, really bad. What is it? He was behind your parents' deaths. The world tilted. What the hell? Back in New York. I got the job at Domi's ad. I texted Erin the news. He read it but didn't respond. Rhoda called her that I'd been distant. I get a new job. I told her. Steering the conversation. I start tomorrow. That's great, Joe. We should catch up soon. I have so much to tell you. Yeah, we should. After the call, I stared at my phone. Erin still hadn't responded. It recalling straight to voicemail. At my meeting with Shane, my editor, she said, I read your manuscript. It's good. Really good. The client's going to love it. But we're going to need a sequel. My heart swelled. This was incredible news. But it also meant he had to figure things out with Erin. I was going to tell him I loved him and I wanted him to be my boyfriend for real this time. Erin threw himself into work after the breakup, avoiding his bedroom where Joan's presence still lingered. Adrian Voss arrived with news about the mysterious Dagger Lord. The Dagger Lord is part of a crime syndicate. His name is Matthew Lockwood. He grew up in Boswell child care in New Orleans, the same orphanage as Joan. Adrian reported. The syndicate has a personal vendetta against Ace Knight. He used to be one of them but pulled out abrupt ly and ruined their operations. Ace Knight. Just hearing the name turned Erin's insides. He ordered Adrian to find him, then called to track down Matthew. His secretary buzzed, Sir. The woman is here to see you. She says her name is Joan. Erin tensed. I'm busy. The door burst open. Joan walked in, fire in her eyes. You've been ignoring my calls and leaving my messages unread. I was worried. Leave, I'm busy. She blinked, hurt flashing across her face. Did I do something wrong? Let's stop seeing each other. That was the deal. We get each other out of our systems and move on. I've moved on. That's it. Her voice cracked. Yeah. A tear slid down her cheek. So this is what heartbreak feels like. And here I was happy, wanting to share. My book is getting a sequel because my editor loves it. Just tell me why. We were never an item. Hidden, it was just a deal, remember? But why did you do all those things? Why did you crash my date? Why did you take me to Paris? Why did you fucking care for me if it was all a deal? Because it wasn't, he wanted to say. Instead he forced the words out. I never asked you to love me. It was just for the sex. We over. Get out. She stared at him, broken. I should have known you were just going to use me. I hope you were happy, Erin. I hope breaking me was worth it. She walked out, slamming the door behind her. He sank into his chair, burying his face in his hands. He destroyed everything. But it had to be done. She was the daughter of the man who killed his parents. It was the fault. But he couldn't look at her without seeing that truth. I went home and drank until I was numb. When Rhoda found me, I knew I had to tell her the truth. I left with your brother. It happened in Spain, and here. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Joan, you slept with Aaron? I'm sorry. Did you seduce him? Because Aaron would never go for you. You re not his type. You re not his class. Her words knocked the air out of me. You think I forced him into this? She grabbed her phone and purse. We re-done here. Don't ever contact me again. I didn't need alien slut for a best friend. She slammed the door and just like that, I lost my best friend. At work I tried to focus, but the ache in my chest wouldn't leave. Brielle introduced me to everyone, Garrett and Alessia De Luca. My blood ran cold. De Luca. The same name from the text. Luna De Luca, your mother. Alessia was Spanish. With kind brown eyes, she smiled at me. And I forced myself to smile back. Could she be related to me? Was this a coincidence? Later that night, I got another text from an unknown number. Don't you think it's time we meet Joe? Meet me at the warehouse on the next street by Juan. Come alone. I should have called Aaron, but he made it clear we were over. So I went alone, a knife tucked in my pocket for protection. Matthew was waiting. We grew up there together. I thought you'd remember me. You were the only thing that kept me sane in that place. He pulled a gun. I lost interest in you, Joe. Knowing someone else was fucking you. But I couldn't just let go. That leaves me with no choice. To blow out your brains and fuck you. While seeing life leave your eyes. A gunshot rang out. Everything went dark. Aaron burst into the warehouse. Louis at his side. Matthew was slumped on the floor. Clutching his leg, Louis had shot him. Then Aaron saw Joan limp against a chair. His heart stopped. Until he found her pulse faint but steady. Take him to the basement, Aaron ordered, scooping Joan into his arms. At home. The doctor treated her grazed arm. She'll be fine. The bullet just grazed her. When Joan woke, confusion clouded her eyes. Seriously? You're the first person I see in the afterlife? Figures. You're not dead. She sat up, checking her arm. Thanks for saving me. But I'd like to leave now. Stay. At least until your arm gets better. I can take care of myself. She grabbed her hoodie and walked out. Don't follow me. I'll be fine on my own. She was gone, and the ache in his chest was unbearable. But he did get her back, no matter what it took. In the basement, Aaron faced Matthew. Why did you send her those texts? He was asked too. Behave a boss, Dagger Lord. We re part of the vicious syndicate. Joan's father was once with us until he pulled out. Matthew revealed everything. How Ace Knight had tampered with Aaron's parents' car, causing the accident that killed them. How Luna had abandoned Joan at an orphanage to protect her from the syndicate. How Ace had just been released from prison and was trying to flee the country. Aaron listened. All these years he'd lived for revenge. But in the end his father had caused his own death. And Joan. She had suffered too, abandoned by everyone, including him. He walked out, leaving Matthew bound. He needed Ed to get his girl back. Joan threw herself into work, avoiding Aaron's calls and texts. He sent flowers, apologized, but she was entreaty. When Denzel found her at a cave, she opened up. I love him so much it hurts, she admitted. But he left me. He's been trying to get back into your good books. There's something you should know, it's the reason he called things off. Just give him another chance. Hear him out. At work, Alessia's mother arrived. Luna De Luca, Joan's mother, the woman who had abandoned her 26 years ago. Luna explained everything. How she'd left Joan to protect her from the syndicate. How she'd searched for her afterward but couldn't find her. I'm sorry. I've just maybe she could try to forgive. Aaron texted Joan, asking her to meet. She agreed, needing answers at the restaurant. He told her everything about their fathers, about the syndicate, about why he pushed her away. It broke things off because it had it deep easier. It had it protect both of us from more pain. And that was the most stupid decision I've ever made. I realized it wasn't your fault. You grew up without anyone, and somehow I blamed you for something you had no control over. A tear slid down her cheek. Luna showed up at the office today. Alessia is my half-sister. He squeezed her hand. Would you give me another chance? I'm not asking you to forgive me right now. Just let me try to make it right. We'll see, she whispered. Later at his house, they talked for hours, and when he asked her to be his girlfriend properly, officially she said yes. Aaron planned the perfect proposal. He took her to Amovai, then to a rooftop where rose petals spelled out, "Will you be my girlfriend? You know, you really didn't have to do all this," she whispered. The gesture is sweet. But even if you had asked me in my dreams, my answer would still be yes. She watched his face as the words sank in. Yes, Thompson, I'll be your girlfriend. A slow grin spread across his face before he pulled her into a tight hug. Later at home they made love slow, tender, different from before. Afterward, she curled against his chest. I wrote a book about us. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. Tomorrow, I love you, Thompson. Even with your standoffish attitude and stick-up-his-ass vibes, I still love you. He chuckled, pulling her closer. I fucking love you. Dinner with Alessia and Luna was awkward but necessary. Noah, Alessia's fake boyfriend, was there too, the same Noah from work who drove Alessia crazy. Joan watched their banter with amusement. Luna apologized again, and Joan listened. She was ready to forgive, but she was willing to try. Alessia was her sister, that meant something. Later Rhoda reached out. They met at a cave, both hesitant. I'm sorry, Rhoda said. I said those things because I was hurt. I didn't mean them. No. Joan reached for her hand. I really missed you. They talked for hours, slowly rebuilding what they'd lost. Joan had been feeling off for weeks. Mood swings, exhaustion, weight gain. When she finally saw Diva Jax, the test results came back. Pregnancy positive. She stared at the paper, her mind reeling. She was pregnant. Aaron's baby. How would he react? They had plans, a wedding, a future. Were they ready for this? She went to his office, needing to tell him, but when she saw him, the words wouldn't come. She just held him, and he held her back. Later that night, at her birthday party, a surprise Aaron had planned with all their friends, he proposed. His eyes widened. She nodded. He swept her into his arms, spinning her around. We're having a baby. Cheers erupted around them. Rhoda hugged her, confused but happy. Denzel grinned. Even Alessia and Noah looked pleased. This was her new beginning, her next chapter, and she was ready. Aaron had to go to Seattle for work. He wanted Joan to stay with a bodyguard, but she insisted she'd be fine. It's just dinner with my colleagues. I'll be good, I promise. He relented, but a bad feeling lingered. In the cab on the way to the restaurant, the driver glanced in the rearview mirror. Their SA car trying to overtake us. It's been following us for a while. Joan texted Aaron. Why did you send the bodyguard after me? His response came seconds later. I sent no one. You're being followed. Where are you? Before she could answer, the cab jolted to a stop. A car had blocked their path. Two masked men stepped out. The door flung open. Rough hands grabbed her hair, yanking her out. Her phone slipped from her grasp. Let go of me. One of them lifted her effortless ly. Sorry, princess. We weren't supposed to hurt you, but you're one stubborn bitch. A sharp pain exploded in her skull as the butt of a gun slammed against her head. Blackness swallowed her whole. Joan woke in darkness, her wrists bound. A gag in her mouth, her head throbbed. Her stomach ached. The baby. Was the baby okay? A voice came from the shadows. Don, he struggled. It'll only hurt you more. A man was there, bloody, beaten, hanging upside down. He spoke of someone named Joan, of loving her, of trying to protect her. Then he said words that froze her blood. Daddy loves you. Ace Knight, her father. The door burst open. A man with dark eyes and a cruel smile entered Sparrow, raising his gun. Before he could strike, gunshots rang out in the distance. Forget it. Untie her. We need to move now. They're closing in. Rough hands freed her. She curled her arms around her stomach as they dragged her toward the back door. Then a deep voice, going somewhere. Figures entered the room, blurry shapes, but their presence froze Sparrow and his men. Through the haze she saw him. Aaron. His cold, dark eyes locked on hers. Aplia hidden there. Stay awake. A gunshot. Darkness swallowed her whole. Aaron caught Joan as the man holding her crump LED. She was too still, too heavy. His chest tightened. He knelt, easing her against the wall, then stood to face Sparrow and his men. They were outnumbered, but he had a plan. Aaron. Her weak voice pulled him back. He dropped to her side. Tell me where it hurts. Where are you bleeding? She shook her head, tears streaming. The baby. We're losing the baby, Aaron. He followed her gaze to her dress. Dark stains spreading fast. No, listen to me. I'm getting you out. The baby's going to be okay. I promise. He scooped at her into his arms as an explosion rocked The building. Chaos erupted, gunfire, smoke screams. He ran, firing with one hand while holding her with the other. They made it to the car. He typed the hospital address into the GPS and showed her the emergency button. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, press this. The car will take you to the hospital. What about you? You're bleeding. I'll be fine, promise me you'll leave. She nodded, tears streaming. Promise me you. LL, come back to us. He kissed her. It will. ILL. Come back for you and our baby. He ran back into the burning building as she pressed the button. The car sped toward. Joan woke in a hospital bed, Aaron beside her covered in blood. She knew. Before he said anything, we lost the baby, didn't we? A tear slipped down her cheek. It's my fault. If I'd listened to you, it's not your fault. His voice was cold, detached. It snuffed the life out of them, every last one. I'm a murderer, and I didn't trigger it. They fucking killed my child. I still love you, Aaron. Nothing could change that. His eyes glistened. Rhoda burst in, hugging Joan, both of them crying. The doctor entered with news. We ran a second scan. The first showed the baby was gone. But in the second, the baby is still there. You may have been carrying twins and lost one. The other is holding on. Joan Shan's flew to her stomach. One baby survived. It was bittersweet grief for the one lost, gratitude for the one who held on. Chapter 37, Healing Therapy helped. Dear Morrissey guided them through their grief, their guilt, their trauma. Joan had seen her father murdered, lost a child, watched Aaron covered in blood. She was broken. Aaron carried his own scars, the weight of killing, the loss of his child, the years of resentment toward Joan's father. But broken pieces could fit together. They held on to each other, slowly healing. Months passed. Joan's belly grew. They planned a small wedding, just close friends and family. Rhoda helped with arrangements. Alicia and Brielle threw her baby shower. Luna visited often, trying to make amends. Joan was ready to call her mom, but she was trying. And Aaron never left her side. He read to her belly at night, kissed her forehead every morning, told her he loved her 100 times a day. On a warm summer day, surrounded by their people, Joan and Aaron said their vows. Rhoda stood as maid of honor, tears streaming down her face. Denzel was best man, grinning like an idiot. Alicia, Brielle, and Garrett filled the front row. Luna sat in the back, dabbing her eyes. Joan wore a simple white dress that flowed over her growing belly. Aaron wore a black suit, his eyes never leaving her face. I love you, he whispered as he slipped the ring on her finger. I've loved you since the first time you called me a bastard. She laughed, tears spilling down her cheeks. I love you too, Thompson. Even when you're being insufferable. They kissed as their friends cheered. It was the wedding they planned. It was better. It was them. That night Aaron held her close, his hand resting on her belly. Thank you, he murmured. For what? For staying. For fighting. For giving us this. He pressed a kiss to her hair. I never thought I gave this. Love, family, happiness. You gave me all of it. She turned in his arms, meeting his dark eyes. You gave it to yourself. You fought for me. You saved me. You loved me when I was broken. Were we ever whole? He asked with a small smile. Maybe not, but together we're closer. He kissed her softly, then pulled back to look at her. Really look at her. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you know how much I love you. She smiled, that crooked smile he'd fallen for years ago. I'm going to hold you to that. Outside, the city hummed with life inside. They had everything they needed. Joan Thompson now closed her eyes, safe in her husband's arms, the baby kicking gently between them. The past was behind them. The future was unwritten, and they would write it together.